And away we go. It is the Nightcap, brought to you by Hail Mary Sports Bar right here on BearcatJournal.com. Go see our good friends at Hail Mary's. They're in Cheviot. They're on Harrison Avenue, right inside the Dora District. So you can go from bar to bar with your drinks, but why would you do that? Just hang out at Hail Mary's. They've got 27 TVs, a 9-screen video wall. They have a DirecTV sports package, so you can get all the games streamed live right to you while you're at Hail Mary's. And, of course, Cincinnati sports will always be on the 9-screen video wall. They have food trucks on the weekends and sporadically throughout the week. Brand new draft lines, brand new walk-in coolers, and, of course, ice-cold Cincy Light on tap in 32.8-degree frosted glasses. All right, let's get to it, Aaron. This is it's funny because this is the one topic you don't get to talk about much because uniforms don't change a whole lot year over year.
Right.
But we did get a big event today, Aaron, as UC football unveiled their new Nike uniforms. If you don't know how this all worked out, when Cincinnati left Under Armour, Nike was not taking on new properties at that point in time. So Cincinnati had to go through a third-party distributor, BSM, to get their uniforms for 2 years. In the meantime, Nike took on a new school. They signed Cincinnati. That deal started, what was it? Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday, the 1st.
Yeah.
So as part of that, and also because if you go back and watch, we had Dan Phillips, who was part of the design group that created these uniforms in-house, working with Nike on the BCJ pod, but they were kind of rushed because the Big 12 Media Days is Tuesday, next coming Tuesday, and you have to have the uniforms at Big 12 Media Days. So they were going to be displayed there. They decided they were going to make, their own event, their own big day out of it. So we get Jason Kelsey at 9:30 this morning on New Heights. He throws one on, the black one. I didn't love it. Just like seeing it on a person because it looked kind of busy to me. And if you've paid attention throughout all the years, I'm not a busy uniform guy. I like simple. I like clean. Then when UC released their pictures, the TV numbers on the shoulder pads I thought looked much better. And they first released the white and the black, and then about an hour later they released the red. Pretty much seems universally liked by the fan base. Not everybody loves them, but seems like everybody is at least somewhat favorable of the new design, except Aaron. We'll get to that in a minute.
I'd go further than that and say that even nationally, I think they were accepted really, really well. Pretty much everything that I saw on social media was at least good, if not great. So I think that they were veceived overall very well. Whoever was involved, Dan Phillips especially, should be very pleased with the way that they were received via social media.
We'll give you a look here. I think this is probably the best picture to kind of give you a look at all three. There you see them. You want me to go ahead and scroll through closer looks, Aaron?
We got time.
Okay. Here's the white, which I think the white look incredible. Like I'm not usually a fan of the whites, the home whites. I think for a white uniform that can be usually kind of bland and boring, I think these look excellent.
I agree.
Okay, good. Glad we're on the same page. The black, I like. I don't like the black as much as I like the white. I do think the white and the red are a little busy on the side of the black. So there you get the white and the white and the black, and then here you get a better look at the red. I think the red are fantastic. The big thing with the red, Aaron, is that they have finally matched the paint on the red helmets with the uniforms, which was something that if you followed UC football long enough, you know when they've worn the matte red helmets did not match the red on the jersey. Now, the red helmet, Bearcat Lightning is the color, Aaron. I want to see if I can get a hold of some Bearcat Lightning. I'm going to paint the walls behind me red.
I could have named it like Bearcat Bintu or something. I don't know why they went with Bearcat Lightning, but okay.
I don't either, but whatever. What are your thoughts on the uniforms, Aaron?
Look, I think that they are improved from where we were a season ago.
I hated those collars.
I don't know that I realized how much I hated the collars until they were gone. And then I was like, oh man.
Until you saw them side by side, you're like,
yeah, I'm like, man, those collars sucked. What were we thinking? So I was okay with that. I think that I am more of the mindset, probably more so than you and Dave. There's not many things that I am of a younger opinion than you and Dave. I'm usually old man yelling at cloud. And I look, game recognized game. I'm just saying. But in this instance, I think that this reminds me a little of Texas Tech. And that is a bit of a concern to me.
I think it looks more like Oklahoma State than Texas Tech.
With a little different color scheme, sure. Obviously. That said, though, I just wish. I know that you don't like the scratch on the pants. I know that you don't
scratches. I hate the triangles.
I know you hate the triangles. I just wish there was something that was unique to Cincinnati outside of simply the logo and the name mark.
CPAW.
CPAW
and the name mark. Yeah.
So I don't know. And even the Cincy script was a nice change of pace on the Reds. Their new logo that they debuted on the basketball jerseys. So I think that was a nice touch, and kind of does tie in the Jordan basketball jerseys to the football jerseys. And I'm interested to see what, if anything, changes with the Jordan set that they have when basketball launches. But that all said, I don't know. I don't want to get lost in my opinion that they are improved. I like them. I think they're good. I think that just doing something, even if you incorporated the triangles and the stripe, not the whole stripe, but maybe just like 4 at the top and then left the rest of the stripe go down.
You have to remember, Aaron, that was Under Armour. That was an Under Armour design. They were never going to be included in these. And I don't
know how Under Armour can steal triangles as a logo design, especially when it's on a building at the University of Cincinnati. That's not anything that Under Armour did. Whatever.
But Nike isn't going to want their uniforms to look like the Under Armour uniforms.
It would look like the University of Cincinnati campus. Although I did see somebody who did the upside down Lego Man building and made an entire jersey of Crosley. And it was maybe the funniest thing I saw on Twitter today. I wish I could shout out who made that. I can't remember off the top of my head. But that was probably one of the funniest things I saw today. But I don't know. I just wish there was something else. I just wish there was something else somewhere that was uniquely Bearcats outside of simply logo and word mark.
Here's the thing that I would say to that. I think the thing that is uniquely Cincinnati is the CPAW. And I love that it's got front and center placement on the word mark with the C, the second C, and then on the shoulder pads. Like, I think that is what you're talking about, I think, is delivered in that. And again, I on uniforms, I prefer simple, clean. I want it to look, I don't want it to look busy. Like, I guess I'll say it like this. Like, if you're gonna look busy, you better be Oregon, where they're just over the top. And like their whole brand is, we're gonna have something every week that's gonna, like, you know, assault your senses because everything we do is so over the top. I don't like I think it comes off as trying too hard. Like, oh, look how bold we are. Like, I think UCF gets caught up in some of that where I don't, some of their stuff I like the black and the gold. I think at times they get it right. I also think sometimes it's like, you guys are trying way
You don't
too
like
hard.
Space U?
Look, I think they should go to the little like Marvin the Martian looking dude all the time.
The
I think they should
Citronaut?
go to that dude. Yeah, the Citronaut. Give me the Citronaut all the time. But like you'd have to go all in on that, right? I think
Yeah,
if you're what they were good.
I was going to say you have to throw the Golden Knight right off the ship.
Yeah. I think what they were looking for was clean and simple with the focus on the marks, and I think they got that right.
Well, I know I'm being nitpicky because again, I mean, I was telling you off air before we even started this show, I used to just draw jerseys when I was a kid, like elementary, middle school kid. I was just drawing NBA jerseys all the time. So I am a bit of a nerd in this regard. But I think they did well. They didn't get, I don't think they got anything wrong. Outside of, I just would have liked, me personally, I would have liked to see something that was maybe a bit more uniquely Cincinnati. In of the vein where you had the scratch marks or you had the triangles, something along that line, but not to take away from the overall look. So maybe if you didn't have an idea that was something like that, it's okay that you left it out, or maybe the ideas that you had were too over the top. And I don't want it to take away from the clean look, I guess, but I still would have liked to see maybe just a hat tip or an homage.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to have seen maybe trying to work in like the skyline of the city, but I know that's been done and I haven't liked it a ton. Like when you've seen like the outline of the buildings of the city, like some people have done that. I haven't liked it as much as I thought I would.
I don't know where you would have really put that either.
Like
that would have
in the stripes. Like you put the outline of the city in the stripes down the leg.
That wouldn't make sense down the leg either. That's now you're having to, sure, but now you're looking at it sideways to even get the look at it, unless the player's horizontal, and that's probably not a good thing.
Diving into the end zone for a touchdown.
Sure, but more often than not, it's not going to be that.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't like I'm not like a Penn State, like it has to just be the white jersey and the blue numbers. Like I like a little, I like the red outline. I like the kind of the homage to the old 90s uniforms.
Yes.
It gave that, I think it gave a much better representation of what they were trying to do with the collars, which is like, we want to work some red in here because the colors are red and black. But it was too much. It was clunky.
I think the font change on the numbers was a great addition as well. Kind of last year, again, very boring, very plain. And this year,
they've used that font they've used that font since I think Dan said 2007, which is when the Nike contract went away the last time.
Yeah. So I think that was a nice touch as well. So well done there.
Yeah. And overall, I think you judge these things, I think, by the reaction, by the perception. And I think they hit it out of the park on that front. I think the perception
didn't see anybody
was great.
Yeah, I didn't see anybody just bashing them or destroying them anywhere.
And look, it's the internet.
Even the people that were critical were kind of where I was at, where they wanted to see something else, just in regards to, again, just something Cincinnati.
But I mean, the nameplate wasn't screwed up like it was last year. Like there was a lot wrong with those BSM jerseys that they just put together like on the fly. And you can tell these were actually designed. Like there was actually some thought put into them. I know you wanted more, but sometimes, Aaron, I think Dan kind of got into this. Sometimes the simpler you make it, the more you have to make sure you get it right. Because you can't screw up. It's like You screw up simple, it looks terrible.
Yeah, like I said, I don't want it to get misconstrued. That I do like that.
Yeah.
I do.
I know.
But just I would have liked to,
Aaron wants
maybe instead of just salt and pepper, we could have done throw some paprika in there just to give it a little kick.
All right, that's gonna wrap it up. We'll be back with another nightcap tomorrow night. A full week back of nightcaps. It feels weird, Aaron. We'll see you then. That's the nightcap brought to you by Hail Mary Sports Bar, right here on BearcatJournal.com.
See ya.